Thank you very much. I have with me Anand Sharma, the Commerce and Industry Minister, who is responsible for pushing through what may perhaps be the highest number of policy decisions during the UPA government. Thank you very much, Mr. Sharma, for joining us today. Big day, the Cabinet FDI in multi-brand retail change, a process that took 1.5 years. In some ways, a new definition as far as control is concerned, a tougher definition, but only with prospective impact, and of course the FDI caps. And we'll come to each of these issues one by one. Sir, one of the key questions that we are now sort of digesting after the changes in multi-brand retail, do you think the changes are enough? Have you responded to all concerns expressed by industry, and do you finally think that FDI will come in 1.5 years after you originally had started this move in November 2011?
Well, first of all, for 10 months we were totally stalled, thanks to the partisan agenda of our opponents, primarily the Bharatiya Janata Party. So we had to put the decision on hold, that's in suspended animation, until we went through another round, and then on 14th of September took the decision. This is the first time India is opening up multi-brand retail. We have looked at the models of other countries. We have also looked very carefully at our own socio-economic realities. Mind you, we are seeking to open and attract investment at a time when the flow of capital globally is very weak, and we are conscious of that. Therefore, to create an ecosystem which is encouraging, supporting and welcoming of foreign direct investments. So we have done that. Thereafter, there were some issues raised. Some clarity was required. Most of the clarifications, the guidelines can satisfy. But there are 3 areas where we had to go back to the policy, revisiting it. One was with regard to the back-end infrastructure. We have not taken that away. It remains integral to the policy, because what was the philosophy? Philosophy was to address 4 issues. Number 1, India's post-harvest losses, particularly for the perishables, the fruits and vegetables. Right. We're the 2nd largest producer of food grains in the world, again fruits and vegetables. But our post-harvest losses are close to 35% for fruits and vegetables. Farmers suffer. The consumer does not benefit. Once you create back-end infrastructure, it will create not only jobs, remunerative prices for the farmers, but what never reaches the kitchen or the shop shelf, most of it will be saved. Some will reach our domestic kitchens.
But sir, I'm going to interrupt you.
But the rest will get processed and exported.
I'm going to come to a specific point there. Forget foreign capital, sir. Why has domestic capital or the government failed in some ways to create this back-end infrastructure? Because this has been a story for 10 years. You yourself have been pushing this for so many years.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, is it that foreign capital will create back-end?
No, it's not. How can you prevent foreign capital from coming in? Do we need foreign capital or not? A country which has a total forex reserves of 280 billion, which is adequate enough to meet our import bill for 7 months. Are we satisfied? Now, the other issue is, we have to understand, domestic capital has gone into organized retail. Things have been improving, but is that adequate? There are technologies which are available with the global majors.
So
those technologies will come in.
Majors, for once, you have made a policy change and they have welcomed it. But the same global majors are also facing other regulatory hassles. One of my, the concerns that really has come up is that with this policy change, can you put out an assurance to the likes of Walmart or Tesco or anybody else who is looking at India that they won't get hassled in India, that the door and the welcome will actually be red carpet treatment? On what basis do you say that, sir? Because many of the regulatory agencies and issues...
Which ones?
For instance, the non-transparent equity structures which are being...
That won't happen, because we have brought greater degree of clarity when it comes to the equity structures. The definition is clear. People have been either confused or not clear about it in the past. In 2009 February, the CCA had taken a decision of the cabinet on ownership and control. That was following the recommendations of a EGOM chaired by the then External Affairs Minister. At that time, he became the Finance Minister.
And now the President.
Yes, and the President FM, Shri Chidambaram, was the member. The then Commerce and Industry Minister, the Defence Minister, Shri Antony, and I was there in my capacity as the Information Broadcasting Minister. So I happened to be a member of that. Now that defined ownership and control in the context of foreign direct investment. See, we have to be very clear. One is ownership and control in the domestic context. That is the SEBI-SAT or the Companies Bill 2012, which is before the Parliament. The second is the FDI definition. That is about the foreign equity and the Indian equity and ownership and control definitions. What we have sought to do now, yesterday,
is to align them.
Align them to the maximum possible.
But why did it take so long, sir?
No, why, what?
Because that led to policy shopping in some ways. That led to the creation of non-transparent structures.
That's not true. Because earlier also it was very clear. Majority equity and the power to appoint majority directors. That was 2009 definition. And that was conveyed through policy notes or press notes 234 of 2009. The issue was there was a gap. When FEMA regulations got aligned with it and the notification came. So as of now it is that definition for any decision. After last night's cabinet decision
and subsequent notification,
subsequent notifications will come.
Okay. So, sir, here there is one important point which needs to be clarified. Let's take the name Bharti Walmart, for instance, the world's largest retailer, stuck several other probes, and we are not confusing it with the lobbying probe, which is a completely separate. Absolutely, sir. But the issue, as far as their equity structure is concerned, this policy change, which actually expands and tightens the definition of control and aligns it with our other regulations, which is absolutely welcome. Will it impact or benefit Bharti Walmart, the largest retailer in the world?
So we are doing it.
Can it take confidence? Can it take a good signal from
No,
this?
even earlier one, that's why I used the word confusion. The investments which would have been put in after 2009 February, as communicated through press note 2, 3 and 4, were in order. So let me make it abundantly clear. There was
the issue was perhaps prior to that, what you're saying.
Prior to that, I'm not aware.
Okay.
But whatever happened, February 2009 onwards, is covered, clear. Okay. Number two, we are trying to have some alignment here with SEBI-SAT guidelines as well as with the Companies Bill, which is still not passed by the Parliament.
Absolutely.
Now, what we have brought in, power to not only appoint majority of the directors, but to take
influence the managerial,
to take management policy decisions, and which is reflected through shareholder agreement and the voting rights.
Okay, sir.